to MBTV. This is Daniel, and today's topic of the video is online dating and MBTI, and what that looks for every MBTI type to do online dating. It's kind of interesting because you have 16 different personality types playing the same, riding the same ocean. Everybody's going at different speeds and they have different intentions. So I definitely wanted to go over a couple things with you guys. This is actually going to be a very extensive video, so buckle in. You're going to get a lot of information out of this video, and let's just get down with it. So I wanted to start off with which types most benefit from online dating. On my list here that I have written down, I believe that the types that most benefit from online dating are the extroverted feelers, the extroverted sensors, and the extroverted thinkers. Now, obviously, this is so because all three of these types are really good at they're really good communicators, right? And I focus on both of these. Actually, you know what? Totally screw that. You have all four extroverted function types, including any. They're all really good at communication. But what also is correlated with online dating in these types, from what I've seen, is that they move pace very quickly. NETE, FE, and SE, they all move very quickly, too quickly at times. So they gotta cool it down. But these types are the best at communication. They're the best at getting a girl's number. They're the best at escalating. They're the best at having fun in a conversation and taking the scene from online to offline very quickly. Not to say it's a bad thing, but they're easiest to do this. Whereas when you look at, TI, SI, and FI, and NI, it's more slow moving. So these functions, people with these primary functions, all the introverted functions, for the most part, they're all slow to move online. It takes a little bit more time to get them off. But in my experience, I don't believe that to be the case. I believe that there needs to be some kind of synchronicity between these kind of types for it to work out. Obviously, that's how it goes from online to offline, is that there's got to be some kind of compatibility, then you meet each other on the other side. But TI, SI, FI normally are the slowest, and NI, they take longer to decide on the situation. They're usually introverts. Having a dominant introverted function is going to make that person an introvert, whatever type they may be. And they focus on different things with online. So if you can carefully gauge what kind of type you may be talking to online based off of their profile will give it away, believe it or not. If you look at enough profiles, whether you're a guy or a girl looking for either or gender, it will definitely give away what kind of person they are, and just gauge it from them there. Because online dating, it's about needs being met, right? Even before you meet them, right? They have a profile and they have certain things that are important, valuable to them. If you cater to those things, then you'll get them offline, and you getting to meet them. Not to be like in an authentic way, but you want to be able to, if you're interested in this person and you think they're attractive and you want to get to know them, this will help you get to meeting them in person, guy or girl. So this is going to be not gender specific to helping either one, but it's just going to be a good rule of thumb. So you have all these. You have two opposing. You have the extroverted function dominance and you have the introverted function dominance. They play two different games out on the online world. And I just want to point out, NE dominant users are crazy online. From what I've noticed, ENFPs and ENTPs, they're crazy. They're like the ones that message you like 1,000 questions. Oh my God, NE goes crazy on online dating. They just love meeting people and asking a ton of damn questions. You can spot an ENFP a mile away on online dating. So I just wanted to point that out. So every type kind of focuses on something different. I wanted to answer these three basic questions that people might be thinking in their head. What types get the most dates? What types get the most numbers and see the most people? I kind of answered that already. It's going to be the extroverted functions, whether it's going to be an ESFP, an ENTJ, an ENFJ, ENFP, ENTP. No, not ENTP. No. Well, yeah, ENTP as well. So that's what that's going to look like. All right. This is kind of a struggle though, because for all the introverted types, they're at a disadvantage because, ironically enough, they're really trying to figure out what's going on. And like I was saying, like everybody's gonna have different intentions online. So for introverts online, there's more of an assessment that needs to be made through every stage, right? And if you're an extrovert and you want to genuinely meet somebody online, you really have to respect an introvert's process online to seeing you, right? It doesn't go to say that it's not hard to get their number. It's not, right? Getting any person's number online is not hard at all. But you have to meet a certain standard, for them and for yourself, and you gotta abide by a certain process. So with that being said, I wanted to go over a little bit about the different online profiles, not online profiles, the online dating sites, the different dating sites, and where you're most likely going to meet somebody that you actually really are going to get along with. So at my top list, you have eHarmony and Match. That goes without saying, these types are subscription based and you need to pay a monthly basis for these types. But from what I have seen, these dating websites, these two specifically, are very efficient at pulling together. I guess it's because people are paying, so it matters more. People are more focused and driven to meet people on these two websites. So, I would recommend Match. Match is really easy. It's seamless. And meeting people on there, it's super easy. You just got a message and then the person will respond. So if you're judging all of these websites by response rate, by getting her number, by going on a lot of dates, and by meeting people, and generally by meeting qualitative people, that's how this list is going to be broken down. So Match and eHarmony both are going to have very qualitative people. You're going to have a lot of people who are actively looking to meet you if you fit the criterion that they're looking for, which is very standard. You just got to be yourself, and you got to be a decent human being. And then once you get out into the date, it's you can get into a lot of dates on these two websites, if you're doing it seriously or half seriously. The next tier, you have Okcupid and Plenty of Fish. And I only add Plenty of Fish on there as an exception, because I wouldn't even use Plenty of Fish on here. I'll explain why in a bit. But the second tier, or the best rated, if you don't want to pay for a paid subscription, Okcupid or Plenty of Fish. Depending on where you live, one or the other might be better, so I would gauge it. Essentially, I never recommend people go on Plenty of Fish, just because it's way more for a hookup app than like a very genuine meetup and casual dating scene. There's a lot of hungry guys out there, and there's a lot of women who just waste men's time. So that's why I say Plenty of Fish is like whatever. I've met a lot of really cool people on Plenty of Fish, and a lot of people I know have met a lot of people on Plenty of Fish. It's a place to go. And one thing I do like about Plenty of Fish, separate from all the other types, which is so ironic, is that Plenty of Fish allows you to be more interactive with communication and communicating with somebody, meaning that they have that microphone option like Facebook does, where you can speak and then say something and then send that microphone audio to the person you're talking to. And I recommend this app actually over Okcupid as far as communication, not as much more authenticity, for the main reason that you can communicate in a way more authentic way on Plenty of Fish than you can on Okcupid. Okcupid will give you more metrics and it's more popular, so there's a bigger variety, I feel, when it comes to people that you're actually looking for. And you'll notice this on Plenty of Fish. Not a lot of people are active, and when they are, it's not somebody you'd be interested in for the most part. That's in my case, and a lot of people's cases. So this is purely based off of my observations. Go for Okcupid first, and then figure out Plenty of Fish. See how that goes. Okcupid definitely does seal in a lot of dates if you have a really good profile. The lower you go down on this tier structure of really good sites, I might add, you have to have a stronger profile. So there's a correlation between paying for a subscription website like Match or eHarmony, and your website still needs to be, your profile still needs to be okay and good. But as you work down to more and more ingenuine websites and more sketchy websites, you definitely need to have a way better profile. It's just, you gotta make yourself look premium and appealable, because you're competing with a lot of people online, and I'll get to that. So, Okcupid and Plenty of Fish, I covered for the most part. Plenty of Fish, it would be like 65-70% people looking to hook up, 30% people who are actually really there because I think that they can find somebody, and it's totally genuine. I would totally recommend this place. It's online date, just, it's food for thought. I've heard good and bad stories. All right, now you have a lot of other dating sites that I still recommend, but they're not as popular, but they're growing. One of these apps is called Happen. Now, these are all going to be logoed up here if you haven't seen them already, so I'm just going to pop them up so you can be familiar with them. Happen is an app where you're walking around and you're in like a 250-meter radius of somebody, and they're around the area. So it's, it's kind of love by, radius connection. And from there, you see a list of women or men who are in the vicinity of where you are, and if you both heart each other, then you both connect, and then that's it. That also, like Plenty of Fish, has a option where you can click the button to talk to people, which is really great because it's very effective. And especially being a guy, it's very effective to use those tools because it gives you more credibility talking to somebody. You're not just some creeper, you're not just a text. So you have Happen. Happen is really good. I've used it tons, and I've recommended it to tons of people, and people have gotten progress with it. So on top of that, so this is the third tier, right? So you have Happen, you have eHarmony and Match, then you have Plenty of Fish and Okcupid, then you have Happen, then you have this new website called Pick, which is merely like the same thing it's the same thing as Tinder, but Tinder is like obviously risque. Pick it's based off of finding genuine matches and being able to prefer particular matches in the search swiping engine, which is cool because it gives you that freedom to choose what you're swiping with, as opposed to Tinder. So Tinder is just everything. We have Pick, which I will put a thing up here. Pick is great. It's not, like I said, it's not as popular. Then you have something called The Grade. The Grade is New York based or in the tri-state area based. It's called The Grade. The Grade is good. I would go to The Grade if you can, more or less for the fact that it actually grades you on certain criteria that the app tries to compare you to other people that's your gender. For example, it'll grade your pictures, your profile picture, and how competitive it is with like a percentage compared to other men's pictures, and your quality of messaging, and your quality of response rate, and your quality of word usage. So it kind of gets into a little bit more statistical data of helping you really understand like where you're going wrong or where you're going right, and how well you're doing comparatively to everybody. Like it's average, like on The Grade, like the 8% is the average like rate. So like if 100 people like you, 8% of those men, 8% of women of that 100 will like the average guy. So if you're above 8%, then you're good because you're beating men in that category, which is pretty cool. So profile pictures and pictures do matter. Which is definitely something I would definitely want to emphasize to you. Obviously, I have to place Tinder somewhere. So if I had to place Tinder somewhere, I would actually list them pretty much where Plenty of Fish is, right? I would really consider Plenty of Fish like tier 2.5, and I would put Tinder right there. So you have the first two, then you have Okcupid, then you have Plenty of Fish and Tinder next to each other. Because it's, depending on where you are, Tinder has been really overused, and now there's robots on Tinder for men anyway, and it's very complicated and convoluted. And to meet somebody and to not waste your time and message somebody that's actually real, the bots are taking over online dating, unfortunately, and unfortunately they've conquered Tinder in the New York City tri-state area that I'm in. This is a really great and interesting breakdown of the types of dating sites you have online. It's really important to note the kind of sites that they are, and that as you go down the tier structure I listed, it's not like you meet women that are more and more poor quality, but it's just the website, it's the representation you're trying to meet somebody in that website. And you know, the more down you go, the more risque it is, the more sketchy it is. And if you really want to meet more people, you want to stay up with either one of the first two or Okcupid. You know, you can always use Tinder. And then the other apps that I use I just put them in that tier because they're not popular enough to really just go on there and you're just instantly hooked up with somebody. So that's what I have for the online dating and MBTI. Obviously, I believe that more extroverted function dominant types are going to be on like on Tinder. They're going to be on all these other things more so than Okcupid and Plenty of Fish and Match, because that's more of a slower process. You know, actually jumping on the computer and keeping up with it. Even if you're using these apps on your phone, it's going to be slower process that these extroverts are that want to it's slower than the average speed that they want to go on. So going online on the desktop or on these better sites, it's a good sign. If you have patience for it, you can meet tons of people actually that are really cool people. I could only say that filling out your profile with a couple good pictures, 4 to max pictures of you and doing some kind of activity, you going on an adventure, anything that really good, you need one good, at least good portrait picture of you, and then a really good bio of what you're about, where you want to go in the future, kind of a little bit about your personality, and then leave a ton as a mystery. And make sure you fill out most of the stuff, because women do check out profiles just as much as men check out women's profiles, although there's a shorter attention span for men when they look at the profile pictures, because I just said it, but they'll see the profile and really go for the picture and then go from there, whereas women, they really go down the ladder and they look at everything. So make sure, if you're a guy, that you're pretty representational online, and if you're a girl, if you're a woman online dating, just be aware of the kind of different types and the different agendas that they might have. There's a lot of men out there who are they pursue women like crazy online, and it can get very ambiguous and women can get turned off. So if you're a guy and you're not in that category of ESFPs and other dominant function types out there that are just overwhelming women, make sure that you have a really good response, and I'll get into different responses in different videos. This video is really just an overall kind of like where to go as as a type. I would say if you're an introvert, really stay on top of the ladder on these on like the subscription based or Okcupid, if you want Plenty of Fish, or go for the more authentic ones, which would be Pick and Bumble, right? I don't think I mentioned Bumble. Bumble is actually an app where you actually have to initialize the message first as a woman, which is kind of cool because it kind of gives guys that kind of freedom. So if you're an introvert, definitely get on Match, get on eHarmony, get on Okcupid. If you're an extrovert, you can pretty much go anywhere you want. But as far as the introvert and wasting and utilizing your time more efficiently on online, make sure you stay with the first three. You could go on Tinder, you could go on all these. This is all philosophical and perspective and opinion based. But from what I've seen, more introverts meet more people generally on better websites, as opposed to being turned off on more sketchy websites, if that makes sense. So, if you don't want to be bombarded and have your work cut out for you every time you log on, go on the better websites. You'll get a lot of responses, but they'll be more qualitative and they'll be by guys who are more serious than the average guy on every other website. Not saying that there aren't qualitative men on all of these other websites. That would be biased. There's just different percentages that I'm not aware of at this time. But generally, you can technically go on any website. I would rather lead you in the right direction where you would get more success. So I hope you liked this video. This was freaking long enough. If you have any questions, comments, please put them down below so I can get to them in another video. As far as recapping, that order that I based the websites in, that was pretty credible information from my experience and other people that I know. As far as types and how they navigate on these websites, that's a really good depiction. Extroverts versus introverts, and then really linking up to that compatibility while messaging. And I didn't really get into getting a girl's number and this and that stuff, because I really wanted to basically start to unravel into this content. So I hope that I had you guys go into a good direction with this stuff. Online dating is totally credible now. More and more people are connecting through online dating for friends, for more than friends. And it's beautiful because it's becoming more and more popular. Before it wasn't. You didn't want to tell somebody that you met somebody online. Now, like, tons of people are getting married and relationships through online dating. And I believe it's so legitimate because I was never a fan of people meeting in the same network, same network connections. I don't believe that works in theory at all. And two, I just believe it's easier just to explore yourself and explore new people without having friendships or a network behind you that knows this person. As somebody who's always ventured out and met new people, either online or events or activity groups or whatever, it's always been nicer to meet people myself without the extension of friends at my back, knowing who I'm dating on a more personal level than I know them. That's just me. So I believe online dating is a very legitimate thing. Definitely try it out if you haven't. I hope this content helped. Please subscribe, and please actually check out our Slack chat, which is on mbtvcoach.com. It's down in the description below. The Slack chat is pretty much a chat room area for MBTI enthusiasts and typology enthusiasts. So if you go on our website, you'll be able to see our chat room. Sign up, and you can do that. We'll accept your invite, and then you'll be in, and then you'll be talking to everybody there. We have a forum on the website, which is very great. You have articles on not just the forum, but the professional website that's separate. That's where you first see the main articles, and then when you go to the forum, you have other articles that other users post, and it's a growing area. It's only been up a couple months, and that forum is booming. So the chat's booming and the forum is booming. And also, you can check out if you want to be professionally typed, or you need relationship or dating coaching or online dating coaching. You can reach out to me or Trey Pierce on this website. Or if you want to get professionally typed, you can always comment to Chad, and he'll be able to navigate you from there and walk you through the process. Again, this has been Dan, and thank you for tuning in with me for this long. I hope you found this content very relevant, and I'll see you next video. For millennials today, for people who are older today, it's good and bad because you have power of online. You can meet people faster, you can go on dates more, a lot more. So there's more variety when it comes to women, and there's a lot more variety when it comes to men. Men and women nowadays are held to an even higher standard, as well as expectation on how to carry themselves. So this